Welcome, Melanated Married Millionaires and friends, to another amazing episode. This time we got a special guest who's about to drop some gems and help y'all secure the bag. Make sure y'all join the conversation by going to the
m4show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at
The M4 Show.
Queen, should they like and subscribe or something?
Most definitely. You should definitely go do that like right now.
Yes, make sure y'all like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are listening to this episode. We appreciate you. It's free, so go ahead and do it. And it is your first move on being a millionaire. Now, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's introduce our guest for today. Oh, Sinclair. Welcome back, beautiful people. We are in a different environment. First time out here in Chi-Town, aka what else do they call it? The Windy City, right? Having a good time. And we're gonna talk about why we're out here probably a little bit later. But welcome back to another impactful episode. Y'all know that intro always messes with me, but this should be the last time you hear the True Health Forever intro on the M4 show. Very excited to finish that transition to the Melanated Married Millionaires in the making, and excited to have our guests on here today too. But before we get into it, Queen, can you please hit them with the did you know?
Yeah. So, did you know that taking a few deep breaths before you eat can actually improve your digestion? And the reason is that we have two modes. When you think about what's called the autonomic nervous system.
The what?
Autonomic nervous system. Basically, we have either the fight or flight, go type of mode, or we're in the rest and digest mode. It's like a binary system. There's no in between. And when you're eating and you want to digest your food, that's a very taxing process on the body. You want to be in that rest and digest mode so that your body can fully break down the food and assimilate all of the nutrients that you want to actually get from the food. But if you're in that fight or flight mode, there's a lot of energy taken away from digestion. So your body's not able to completely digest the food. So that can lead to some indigestion, that can lead to gas and bloating after you eat. So that simple taking a minute and doing some deep abdominal breaths before you bite into that first bite can drastically improve your digestion. So this can be during prayer. If you don't pray, it can just be taking some deep breaths. It doesn't have to be a religious prayer, but just take a couple deep breaths and, notice the difference of the digestion and feel the difference. So very easy thing that you can implement today.
Nice. So question for you, Queen.
Yes.
When you did this, did you know, was it supposed to be like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy for Devon? Or
there was no, I'm sorry. This was you're on your own.
Yeah.
Figure out how to,
how to
tie it in type of situation. That was a good one that I wanted to share with the audience.
Oh man, it was a good one. This is your first time listening. What I need to do each week is I need to somehow connect this amazing, nutritious did you know into the guest for today.
I have a connection.
I do have one too, but would you like to go?
We're probably on the same wavelength. I'll let you do your thing.
All right, Queen, I'll pick up the frequency. So when you're breathing before your meal, it's kind of like preparing your body, preparing your environment to consume, right? To get and eating, right? So when you're planning for a wedding, when you're planning for a marriage, there's some deep breaths. There's some things that you should do to prepare before you go to that altar, before you go to and you commit to that life of marriage. Right?
Yeah.
So right now we're gonna bring on the Powers, right? Some folks that we have known, right? First off, this incredible name. It's
right.
Just like golly, I've been saying this.
The power couple, literally been
saying this for years. But this is going to be our first official like M4 guests. They're about to get married, and we'll talk about their whole story. We'll talk about some of their story when they come on here, but very excited to have them on. Queen, are you ready?
I am ready.
Beautiful. So without further ado, let's bring on the Powers and let's get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Oh, never know. Bring them out. What's going on, Powers?
Hello. What's up, y'all?
You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful day. How did y'all start this Saturday over there?
Ooh, a bit hectic. For some reason, I've been waking up super early all week, and I haven't had work all week. But today, I went to sleep a little bit late, and I woke up like a bit disoriented. So it wasn't like a peaceful start, but it's balancing out.
Nice. Okay.
And I've been out and about since about 7:30 a.m. Not doing business, but taking care of mine. So I was playing some basketball earlier on.
There we go.
Nice. Self-care.
You still at Nap?
You said what?
You still at Nap? Where you play at?
Yep, same place.
Oh, love it. Good times.
Yeah, sorry, that
yeah, I love it. So I don't know if y'all remember, folks who are listening, there was an episode where I was like, Onah Power broke my body today.
Yes.
Right. So this is that Onah Power where I had to guard him during basketball, and we'll get into why it was so difficult for me to guard him. Long story short, literally my body was hurting for 3 days after that basketball game. I was just like, yeah, I'm good.
He came home, he was like, yeah, not doing anything for the rest of the day. I was like, thanks, Onah. Thank you.
But getting into intros, Onah, you go first, and then Queen Palumi after that. But Onah, if you can give folks a little bit of background on just who you are, things that you've been through, and specifically why it was so difficult for me as a normal person to guard you during that day.
A normal person.
Absolutely. My name is Onah Power. I went to UC Davis, where I had the opportunity of meeting these lovely two. At Davis, I studied economics as well as I was a soccer player. So I played Division I soccer for about 3 years. And I was a walk-on. So in that timeline, I got to work on a lot of skills that helped me apply myself in my everyday life, that I was able to apply in my everyday life. Sorry. Yeah. So since then, after I graduated UC Davis, I became a professional soccer player. Which is, I believe, what Devon is referring to, because I do like to run a lot.
Yeah.
So quick feet.
Quick feet. Like, he's moving. He got sharp knees and elbows too. So it's just like,
gotta watch out.
Yeah. So did that for a little bit in the U.S. and then I actually moved over to Europe for 6 months. I was in England for a couple of months, and then I moved over to Spain. So I was playing there for a little bit, and then COVID hit, and I transitioned back to the United States and actually pursued a career as a teacher. It was an absolutely amazing time. I really, really enjoyed everything about it. But the Queen got a lovely job, and I also wasn't necessarily ticking all the boxes in my career. So I wanted to explore some other options, being that I'm currently super young. I am 26. So at the time, I remember a couple years back when Devon was turning 26. I was like, "Sir, you're old."
Old, right? You're old.
And now I'm looking back like, "Man, I'm old."
Man, that's funny.
But yeah, so in that timeline, I tried to find what career I wanted to go into that would tick all those boxes. So currently, I work in sales. I work for one of the biggest distributors of exterior building products. So pretty much anything that would go on the outside of the house, my company sells. Now, we're a Fortune 500 company. We're traded on the stock market, etc. So it's a really, really big company, and I enjoy what I currently do. Now, the reason, obviously, in sales, you make a little bit more money. So that ticks one of the boxes I wanted to say. Being a teacher, I got an opportunity to help a lot of people. I love helping people. That's just always been in my career path. I'm just always really devoted to giving myself to people. So in my current position, sales when you do sales right, it allows you the opportunity to help people, right? If you don't focus on the numbers, you're actually focusing on the solutions that you're providing people. It gives you an opportunity to really make a difference. So that's why I really enjoy what I'm currently doing. So that's a little bit about me.
Nice. Onah Power, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to the stage. Yes. Palumi, what's going on, girl?
Hey y'all.
Hey.
I never know where to start when I even intro. I just tend to ramble on. But so I'm Palumi, Palumi Babatunde. That's still my last name. Working on it. I'm okay. I'm 23.
A youngin.
I know. Sometimes it just feel like I feel like I've been old forever. But I'm 23. I'm currently a designer. So I went to UC Davis also. That's how I met this guy. And no, y'all. And I got two degrees. I have a degree in psychology. I have a degree in design. Crazy background story. I was pre-med in school. I feel like I've told this story a lot of times to people. I was pre-med in school. Halfway through, I was like, I'm not happy. I hate these classes. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, okay, I always wanted to go into tech. How am I going to combine that? And I was already a psychology major. So I just did a lot of research. I feel like I went through those growing pains that people go through if they are kind of like worried about what it is that they want to do. I went through that during that time period. And I would just sit in my class looking for ways while the professor was teaching to, figure out what I'm going to do.
Why they were teaching.
Yeah. And I found design, and then I decided halfway through, I think it was the beginning of my junior year, or I was like, okay, I'm going to do design majors. I did my prereqs, and then the next quarter, because UC Davis quarter system, I decided to start my design major. And I was like, you know what? I know it's a lot, but I'm not spending one more second on this campus. I don't have to. So I took a bunch of summer classes and basically completed my design and psychology degree with the 1.5 years left. So I guess I did my design degree in 1.5 years. I got that, and then it was COVID. We were like the first tester students for COVID, and then you graduate, not have a graduation, and then after months of looking, which is very gruesome, found a job, moved back down to SoCal, which I'm from, and been wanting to come back down too, and then been working remote. It's great for me. I'm a little bit of like, I have social anxiety, and then recently just signed a new job offer that I'm starting.
Let's go. Yeah.
I'm a designer, and I tell people what I do, and I'm like, I'm a UX designer, I'm a product designer. People don't know what that is, but hopefully at some point people will know what that means. But essentially, I design products, whether it's apps or websites or more. I do all the design and all the work to make users' experience good. So to simply put it, that's what I do.
Beautiful. And it's so great to have you on this show. I feel like we have a lot of conversations about wealth, about love, kind of like on the side, right? So very happy to have y'all here for other people to kind of learn from your story and also be able to pick up some nuggets along the way. Our goal with this show, if you didn't know, only 2% of Black families have a net worth of over $1 million. 2%. Right.
Do you know what it is for like white families?
I
Asian
don't.
families?
I don't. I'm not worried about that percentage. I'm not. I'm just like, how do we get that 2% up? And our goal is like, we want to be in that 2% and above, and we want all the married couples that are around us to also reach for that 2% as well. So I'm looking forward to this convo. But I do want to start with how y'all met and why y'all chose to get married early or quote unquote young. I feel like in today's culture, like people are looking around like they're not trying to get married in their 20s, right? They're trying to live their life, YOLO, do all that kind of fun stuff in their 20s, and then maybe get married in their 30s or 40s. So if y'all don't mind, talking a little bit about the story and how y'all met, but also that decision on like, nah, this the one. We're about to build together. Yeah, I'm 23. Yeah, I'm 24, but I see it.
26.
Well, when they met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, talk to me about that story.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the queen take it away, because whenever I tell the story, she's always like, "That's not how it happened."
Hey, same thing.
It seems like that happens often, so I was just pass that on to her.
Making good decisions early, sir.
So we met in Davis. It's a bit of an interesting story on different levels, but it's to simplify it. We met at Davis. We were, I think anyone who goes to Davis is in the Black community. I don't know how it is now, but the Black community is sort of like a tight knit, and that can come with a lot of problems and a lot of benefits. So kind of experienced both. But met this dude. He was just like another person, like in the Black community, kind of like knew who he was, and then had a very interesting background. He was a very interesting character at the time, and then just to simply put it.
On the power.
Interesting is the word. So just tried to get to know him, and in like I think when I knew him or knew of him, I was either like 17 or 18 because I started college 17. And then it wasn't until the beginning of my sophomore year that he was trying to reach out to me more. And
in them DMs.
No.
And just a lot of like, interesting college stuff around that. And then I decided to get to know him against, some advice because like I said, he was an interesting person. I was like, I'm young, I haven't really done anything or experienced anything. It's fine to get to know someone. I don't mind, you kind of take someone's character for what, you're being shown. So that was that for me, and just getting to know him, and then just being like really relaxed about the whole thing. Wasn't really any intentions like behind it, just kind of like living life, I guess. And then just from that, I guess you build and then you get something stronger. And then he graduated 2 years before me, so 2018 is when we got together. And this was when he started playing soccer professionally, and that's when we were together. And then that's kind of how we met in college, did the fun college stuff, and then got together when he was serious. He said he wanted to do that, and that
let me drop the first nugget. Nugget: do not set any boxes or put yourself in any boxes when you're looking for the one.
Oh, come on! You got to keep
expand.
coming.
Yeah, what you mean?
Keep coming.
That's himself.
Everything she said so far was that I was a very interesting person on so many levels, as she should, right? And if she would have listened to the noise in the background, right, to everything else around her, versus, I mean, it was noise because you saw through the noise and you saw my personality, and that's why I'm here. So it was noise because if you would have listened to it, it could have distracted you from and would have obstructed you from being where you currently are, right? That's what I'm saying. So in regards to that, like a lot of people have certain like different ways that they go about it, or certain different things that they say, oh, look for this or look for that, or don't do this or don't do that. I feel like we did a lot of untraditional things. In my personal opinion, Queen's already disagreeing, but in my personal opinion, I feel like we had a different route than most people who do end up to get married and get where they need to be typically take.
I think what I'm disagreeing with is that I wouldn't say not to put yourself, don't have any like check boxes, because obviously you have standards, and standards are good. It's good to have standards. What works for you, because everyone is from a different background. So I wouldn't say not to have that or not have any boxes you need to check, because if something is what you need, it's what you need or what you want. So it's not that I didn't have any standards or he didn't have any standards. I don't think that's necessarily the word for it, but I think it's more like we just sort of like went with the flow, and because that's where we were at that time, and that's what worked for us. And sometimes people don't, are not ready to go with the flow, and that's okay. And in terms of noise, I think it's just about using your discernment. So it's, a lot of times some of these things come from a good place where, they're trying to get you to see things, or warn you about things. So it's more just about discerning. So it's not that, you don't have that in the back of your head. So I definitely did. It was just more, so it's going with the flow and just trying to, I think it's always just good to, like I said, kind of learn someone for yourself, or kind of get to know someone yourself. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, absolutely have standards. Absolutely.
Be out here.
You're like, yeah, you're okay. We'll take you. No, I think what you're saying is really important because, like you're saying, it's important to figure out for yourself what you need and what you're attracted to. That's fine, but I think still, like you're kind of like what you're saying, still having that open mind of like it may not come in the package that you expect it to, right? And I think that's definitely what I got.
Wait, how you gonna say it may not come in a package and then be like, I definitely like goodness. Y'all see this? Oh, Jair, cut it.
I'm not talking about a physical package. Sheesh. But I just mean
clean it up.
I just mean you need to be open. So for me, right, you all know my story, I think our relationship story, but like for me, I came into college with a relationship. So I really was not looking. But even I think just being open to still meeting new people even allowed me to, I think, see him for what he was. And that's when I started to like have those romantic feelings, and then the rest is history. My name is Sinclair, and I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner who has created a program that takes a deep dive into your hormone levels and your overall metabolic health to create a highly personalized weight loss protocol that will have you lose up to 30 pounds, gain energy, and have you feeling so good that you go into the back of the closet and pull out that freakum dress. We all have one. So if you are ready to invest in the last weight loss program you will ever need, go to queen2queencoaching.com and book a discovery call to figure out which queen to queen package is right for you. Talk to you soon.
So you said in 2018, once Onah went pro, is when y'all decided to take the relationship to the next level. I want to talk about kind of that because I think that's counterintuitive to I think what we see usually happen. Right, someone becomes a professional soccer player, they are a professional player, period. They move across the world, and that's the moment where y'all are like, you know what? Let's take it serious. I love this person. We're gonna take it to the next level. So, can you talk through that mindset and maybe those decisions on taking the relationship to the next level during that phase of life?
Yeah, so I'll say a little bit about mainly let him say it because he's the one who was moving on to a different stage of his life, and I was still in college. I was ending my sophomore year. But I'd say that, we, like I said, we started this off with we were both kind of like, I think something that's very important is being straightforward about what it is that you want. So we started this out, whatever it is that you're doing, like, I don't want anything. Like, I don't want anything serious. I'm chilling. And like, college is endless opportunities. I'm open, and I don't really at that point. And all my life, I've been a very, just. I'm also Nigerian, so it's just where we both are. It's just like face your books, and I'm the oldest of 5, so it's just been, I just do my thing, and I'm school and things like that. I don't really have much experience, and I came from a really strict religious household, also, like most of us do. But it was more of like, okay, we don't want anything. Just see how stuff plays out, and the stuff played out. I think towards the end of the senior year, like, okay, like, shoot, this is serious. We would spend so much time together. Like, I was always with him. Was either that or I do it with my other set of friends. I was always with him, and they just couldn't move, like almost inseparable. But I think, making that leap to being like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, is a lot of stuff factored in, and a lot more stuff factored in for him than it did for me. So I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah. So for me, right off the bat, when we started getting a little bit more serious, just in knowing each other, not on a relationship side of things, we spoke. We're both not really looking for anything. We're just kind of chilling, just vibing, enjoying each other's company, which is absolutely vital, right? Just being in that moment and just enjoying that. And so as I got to know her more, I was just like, man, like, she's just ticking all the boxes. She's just ticking them all.
Wow.
Like she said, I've had an interesting background, so I've interacted with a lot of people in the past. So I kind of know when I'm getting the same thing that I'm typically getting, right, or when something's different. And the moment it was different, I know that because I was scared. I was like, okay, wait a second. I don't want to hurt this person, right? I don't want to make any mistake that's going to potentially jeopardize what I currently have going on with this person, right? So I took a step back. And that transition and mindset kind of led me to get even closer to her, because she just kept doing more things that was just different. It was just
So what was different? Talk to folks, because there's some women listening right now who are like, I'm different. I do some stuff, or men listen like, yeah, you're right. They're all this. So go ahead and break it down a little bit. What were those things?
It definitely depends on the person, right? But for
Mhm.
me, for example, one thing I really liked is that when we would have conversations, we were both on the same page with life in general. You know, there's a lot of people who have relationships, but they are like on different spectrums of support and just how life should operate in general, right? As we already know, like the way everything is political, and there's this and what you believe is that and that and that. But me and her, we kind of aligned no matter, and we're
we're completely
different people.
we're two different
people. We bash each other so much. not in but we butt heads because we're so different.
Mhm.
But our vision, our goals, our everything, like how we think life should run,
That's good.
it's so in line, and that really stood out to me. So and she could have been doing things that maybe had been done in the past, but it just meant so much more because of who she was, you know. So it just like everything just meant so much more. I want to use this as an example. I know I would text her because I had, like she said, I had games, right? So I would get back sometimes at 1 a.m. in the middle of the night. And in my head, sleep is there, but in my head, I'm like, I want to come back to this person. I want to go be in this person's presence. I want to see this person when I get home. And for her, if you think about how society looks at it, if I'm texting you at 1 a.m., you're a booty call, right? Or if I'm texting you at 1 a.m., you're, oh, he's not really serious about it. How come he only texts you at 1 a.m.?
No, I really got that question. And
well, that's the person I want to be in that time. I don't want to go to sleep without thinking about, interacting with this person. I want her around me, you know? Yeah. And it's funny because I'm a very corny person. I told her when we initially like started getting serious, there was this song I was listening to in the shower, which we will play at my wedding. It will be played at our wedding, but there's a song I was listening to. It's like Only Girl. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it was just in my head, all I could think about was her. And obviously,
that's cute.
In that first stage where everything is just la 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 la. But yeah, it was her. I was just, and I think I texted you, right? I texted her and I told her like I'm listening to the song, listen to it, like, and we weren't even serious, like, but I was so like it was just so different that I was willing to open up to even let her know that this song is making me think about you right now. So, and those are just different things. Like that's a huge level of vulnerability, right? But I don't really care. I will, if I'm serious, I will let you know exactly what it is, right? So I don't really, and that's the thing in society. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of ways to stay away from the games. Yeah. Oh, don't text him back until 5 minutes later, or oh, you text too fast, or it's ignorant. It's ignorant. Yeah. It's like you don't have to be desperate, but like show yourself. And it's hard because there's a lot of people who will take advantage of that, right? And that's the hardest part. So it makes sense why people are being a bit more cautious, but just be a little bit more open, express yourself. So when I got to before leaving Davis to Reno, I already told her, look, you're the person I want to be with. I just need to clean up my life. I just need to clean up my life. I need to get myself together, and I'm glad I left that space because it's hard to transition when you're still in the noise, right? Sometimes you got to take yourself out of that space to be able to reconstruct your mind to get where you want to be. So being in Reno was really, really vital in our relationship. I've been calling her wife for the last 3 years. Yes. I've been calling her wife for so long, so early in our relationship. And so, and to other people, they'd be like, oh, why would he call her wife? Or, oh, why are you, jumping the gun? Because like I said, I'm vulnerable. I will let you know exactly where I'm going when you need it. Yeah. This is how I'm seeing it. So being in Reno, which fortunately for us wasn't too far away from Davis, it was about a 2-hour, 30-minute drive, which is crazy for me and her.
He says it so leniently because he's the one that had to make the drive. And but it was far and not.
How hard it was for you to like come to me.
Well, I don't want my parents to be looking at this.
But so There was a lot of good stuff there. One thing that I want to pull out, and I know the queen has a question, but you were saying how it's important to be vulnerable, to be yourself, to open yourself up. And I think it's interesting when you look at the phrase fall in love, you need to fall,
Mm,
right? And I think sometimes people want it to be comfortable. It's not walk in love, right? It's
right.
not stroll into love. Like, no, you have to fall. You have to be willing to let yourself go in order to find that love. So I think that was a really good point.
And if you think about like the word fall and what it means, it's you don't have control,
Mm,
right? When you're falling, you don't have balance, you don't have control, you don't know what's gonna happen, right? If you'll hit the ground or if you'll catch yourself, like you don't know what's gonna happen. I think that that's a very interesting point. Yeah, the word fall
No,
means like you let go of that control.
right.
that
Um,
that's very funny that you say that because after all the warnings and stuff, and I was like, I still want to get to know this person. I didn't want anyone to know really because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna make my dumb mistake, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it in private.
Right.
And it could have also been a bit easier for me because, like I said, I didn't have a lot of experiences. I didn't have boyfriends or anything, so I think it might be harder for some people because you've been through like the ringer, and it's a bit harder. But I think what's just important is do what works for you. There's just so much noise out there. There's so much, standards, so much game. Do what works for you.
yeah.
That's just
Yep.
what I'll say.
So now y'all are in the marriage game, right? So who are couples that you look forward to, like, or when you're talking about like what you want your marriage to look like who are examples in I mean in your own life or in social media, wherever you find your examples, who are you kind of looking towards to figure out like, okay, I like that what I like what they do, we should
Mm.
incorporate that, or okay, maybe not, that's a little bit of too much of this, let's not do that. I
Mhm.
feel like it can go either way. Where are some examples that you guys are finding as you're building your life and what your marriage is going to look like?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Mm,
So I was saying
yep.
this earlier, and I'm going to repeat it. I think it falls into the whole you can't. I think when you not in terms of like life and like what you want to accomplish when you look up to people, that's good. But I think when you have like goals, like relationship goals or things like that, you tend to put people on a pedestal. And this is not like I'm going in with this mindset. It's just how our relationship works. We don't put anyone on the pedestal because everyone's human. So when someone makes a mistake, it's like, dang, that couple, I can't believe, like, oh my god, blah blah blah. It's just you just do what works for you. You just take things that you would like from different things and not just relationship. And if you feel like that's going to be positive and it's going to work for you, or
Mhm.
just through growing pains and things like that to infuse into your relationship, just different aspects, not someone or some couple in general or some saying, because people make mistakes and you don't want that to be like, oh my god, they did this, so then I want to do this. You don't want your like, it's just like human nature to sort of put people on a pedestal. So I wouldn't say it. I just know what I don't want it to look like, what we don't want it to look like, and that's our parents' relationship.
Yeah,
And
Mm,
we can draw from what we don't want it to look like, right? And
Mhm.
yeah.
then, but like I said, we're both really open minded, and we're trying to literally construct our own marriage. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are just different, Like even the name, for example, like she is going to have my last name, but at some point we were considering creating a new last name in general, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Which is completely different, and that just
Mhm.
speaks to how our mind is. Like we want to do things just completely differently. We want to create our own relationship that doesn't really fit any bubbles, doesn't really fit any standards, right? Can't necessarily, and it's gonna have some similarities to some other relationships because there are some things that kind of need to flow a certain way. But we
well,
we are kind of
that's because like we're traditional and then not traditional at the same time. Like I said,
Mhm.
you kind of take just like anything in life. Like when I say we don't want to be like our parents' relationship, our parents are both still married. Like I'm no contact with my parents, but our parents are both still married. And family is just such a complicated thing, right? But it's
Yeah.
I think also coming from an African background, sometimes you just see some things that you don't want, and you're like, I don't want this. And even before I got into anything with anyone, it was just like some things where I was like, okay, I know I don't want this at all. So we're traditional, but still not traditional at the same time. Like, but it's just part of us taking what works for us individually and together.
mhm.
Yeah.
Talk about a lot of
So
things.
So although there's no examples, I know y'all have that vision for what your marriage does look like or what the family does look like for what you care to share, right? Because I know it's a big vision, y'all got a lot of steps in it. But what are some of those like foundational things that you've talked about and you've come to an agreement on this is what we want our marriage to look like, whether it's, name, communication, kids, family stuff? Like, what are some of those, like, just foundation building blocks for your marriage?
I would say that the main thing is it being a partnership, like 50-50. Maybe sometimes not 50-50 because I like to be taken care of.
We're thinking about we're traditional, but we're not. So we're like, you make your own little.
Yeah. So we say 50-50, but there's just certain things that I do better, and like I stick to that.
Like what?
Like, like for example, I'll do our laundry because better at that. He's just let's just not. We both clean, but I'll probably clean more because there's certain ways I like things to be done. And then I'll say cooking is more 70-40 in his 70, but
hey, Power, I see you.
But
I love for you, sir.
It's also 40 for me, and also because, like, for example, like when I'm Nigerian, and I tend to cook those foods a lot more that last longer
She
and
cooks them
take more
food.
time. So yeah, so we'll cook like the little things, which are more of the meals versus like the important stuff. So, and that's just what works for us. But apart from like cleaning, picking out, I'm very type A, picking out. So I guess we could speak a little into that because things are not perfect. Like we're seeing all these things, but there's a lot of there's a lot of like battles for you to get to where you want to be at, and a lot of just talking and communication. But I'll just speak a little bit to that. But yeah, it's
yeah, like she said, there's different things that run differently in the household. For finance and stuff, she doesn't like numbers and stuff. I studied economics, so numbers, and she just starts like. So I'll deal with that. Right. If there's a problem with the car, she doesn't want to even know about it. Like she just wants to just smooth stuff. So I'll deal with those aspects of it. She has enough to worry about. But then, like she said, there's other things that she will handle. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out in your question, Devon, is one thing that's really important to us is having kids that are raising up good kids. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm sure she's going to speak to herself too, but I didn't really grow up the way that I'm gonna make sure my kids do grow up, right? A lot of times I'm in spaces and I have battles internally where I feel hurt because I missed out on so much. I'm a kid. Like any chance I get to be a kid,
I think we both are.
I am so excited because I didn't have the childhood I wanted and deserved. I was a very good kid. I got good grades. Especially with she did a lot of amazing things. She worked on all of it. You name it, she was doing it. But I didn't get that as a kid. So when I'm in those spaces, sometimes I want to be a kid again. I'm getting in there. I want to get in the pool and play basketball with those wrestlers. That experience, I didn't get that. So yeah, raising kids, giving them that opportunity, having a home where it's safe for everybody to communicate, where there's no feelings being held back, right? Everybody's just absolutely vulnerable and still able to take care of business, but just being open and what I'm saying, being able to just create that lifestyle. That's very important for us, and we both clicked on that because we have similar experiences.
Yeah, it's funny because we have similar experiences, but not similar experiences at the same time. I think something that's just important for human beings in general is your family, how you were raised. That is. That kind of like runs you until, you have to unlearn certain things or, take certain things with you. So definitely wanted to raise good kids. I had stuff from my background growing up because I guess our parents are different that I did like and, want to keep and things that a lot of things I'm more exposed to that he's not. But then I think the things that I don't want are kind of like the emotional part, how the responsibility that was placed, the emotional, and then being around certain people who are not like emotionally mature, not having emotionally mature parents and just things like that. But there's certain experiences and more that I would want to add on to that I definitely want for my kids. But in general, we just want to raise good human beings because honestly, I feel like I say this term a lot, which is like I hate people. And I know it sounds like a strong word, but it's just, you just see that people are not raised the way that you were raised. And sometimes that's like, that's a good thing. But sometimes, there's just a lot of people out there that are not the nicest people, so you just it's just about raising like good, kind human beings also at the same time.
That's how you change the world. But yeah. Any other questions, y'all?
Oh, we didn't talk about why we like to get married early, I guess.
Yeah, but I want to talk about that last statement because that's how you change the world. Literally, we've talked about that, and I think the most revolutionary thing that you can do, specifically for a Black family, but for any family out there, is literally raise a beautiful, healthy, good family. Because there's people out there who maybe they were raised in pain, they were raised in hurt, they were raised in hatred, and that's what
Right.
they know, so they continue to give that out. Right. So if
Absolutely.
you can raise your beautiful family and create kids, especially again as a Black family, pulling your people together, having that childhood that y'all weren't able to get, like that's literally generation by generation how you make the world a better place.
Absolutely.
I have a question that we've talked about. I know I've asked Devon and he's asked back to me, but I want to ask to you all now since we're on the subject of
I asked you a
family.
lot of questions. What you about to
Ask me a lot of questions. But since we're on the topic of family and children, before you even kind of start your family, what is one thing, if your children don't learn anything else from you but one thing, what is one thing you want to instill in every child and into your entire family, that you hope that when they get older that they can say that they got this from you, or that they were instilled with this with this lesson or with this whatever from you? What if you could narrow it down to one thing, what would it be?
Be a good human being. Be a kind human being. For me personally, is anything else, any actions or anything that they're gonna do, I want it to revolve around kindness.
Yeah. And since you already said that, because I was going to say it's very hard for me to say just one thing. And since you already covered the being a kind person, I'll add to the fact that it's doing a lot of self-reflection. You can't always think that you're right. But I think also another thing I would say, because it's something that I don't do, and that's just a result of how I grew up, and just things that I had to go through. And I've gone to therapy, and I'm working on that because I don't want to pass on certain things. And I'm not going to be perfect. I don't want to pass on certain things to my kids. And I feel like that's how generational curses go on. You experience something, you don't reflect, you don't heal it, and then you just pass that on, and it just keeps going. I would say is putting yourself first. You're very important. Knowing that you because if you don't put yourself first, you can't take care of anyone. This is something I'm still learning because I'm such an empath, and I put everyone above me sometimes, and I feel like that tends to affect me. So it's.
But she says she puts everyone above her in regards to, we could just be sitting in the car, right, and there's somebody driving, right, and maybe they almost get into an accident in the car. She's like, I wonder if that person's okay, or like she just she's always thinking about how to help somebody else, and that's what she puts other people in. So because in that moment she could be as down as possible, but something could just happen and she's already thinking about the other person. It's like, wait, what about you? That's what she means.
Nice.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment to have for sure. But yeah, learning to put yourself first. That way you can take care of yourself, and your cup is always full. Especially as kids start coming in, your family starts to grow. It's like your energy is so limited. All right, we're gonna get back to the episode in a second, but breathe. If you've ever had a brilliant idea, I'm pretty sure everybody just took a breath right there, right? Because we all have amazing ideas. But I got a question for you. What's stopping you from taking that idea and actually making it into a business, actually executing on your brilliance? My name is Devon Truvel, and in 2018, I was able to create, market, and sell my own product while still working a 9 to 5. And through the years, I've taken the lessons we've learned, the expensive webinars that I've gone to, and the dozens of business books that I've read, and I've discovered 7 simple steps to launch your business. If you're ready to take your business idea to the next level and make it real and start making profit from your passion, head to www.launchitcommunity.com and grab yourself the book. We've been able to make it very simple, affordable, and easier than ever to start that business while still working your 9 to 5. And we take entrepreneurs every single Friday and we talk to them. We teach them about how to use social media. We teach them about how to set up their Instagram account, how to use Shopify, how to use Printful, and other tools that can help you take your business to the next level, but not take tons of time away from your 9 to 5 and your busy life that you already have. So if you're ready to take that idea to the next level, make sure you head to www.launchitcommunity.com, get yourself a book, and join our free accountability calls. Now, let's get back to the episode. So y'all have been in the hot seat for a while. We've been shooting y'all questions, right? After question after question. We're gonna give you a short break, and this is our Ask and Declare segment. This is where you all have the opportunity to ask us any question about the love journey, wealth building, or health, because we got the health nerd over here. So we're gonna throw the ball in your court, or kick the ball in your court. Come on, Power, play with me now, and see if y'all have any questions.
I would say, I think something that I would ask you guys, and maybe asking not just to see how we do stuff, but also we could get some nuggets from that. I would say, it's one, like, how do you handle conflict?
It's a good one. Queen?
All right, I'm gonna let you while I noodle on it.
So I like conflict, or I like having debates, or I love having discussions. The queen doesn't like having discussions as much. So sometimes she'll start to shut down a little bit if we're having a good discussion about, investing in real estate, about what we should do with certain money, or whatever it is. Most of the conflict that we have at this point is financial, I would say,
or business.
Yeah, just business related, period. I think when it comes to the relationship, where we're pretty solid, sometimes I mess up, but I don't clean the kitchen enough. I'll be honest with you, and that there's a little slight conflict, but not that much, because I know I'm wrong. So she'd be like, Devon, what are you doing? Clean the kitchen. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's my bad, I apologize. But the biggest piece of conflict is business strategy, what to do with money, finances, investments. And really, I think what I know about Sinclair is she wants to understand. Right. So if I'm just coming on with an opinion, the opinion for Sinclair, I don't really care about the opinion. What are the facts? What are the numbers? I know you want to do this with the money, or you want to do this business venture. Where have you seen that business idea been successful before? Okay, you want to put money here. What is the return going to be if you put the money here? Give me the facts. I'm not worried about opinion. So I think learning that about Sinclair has helped reduce the conflict when things come up. Because I think early in our relationship, I was a big dreamer, and still am a big dreamer, but I didn't back up none of the dreams with no type of facts, no plan, no strategy. It was like, I want to do this because I saw someone else do it, and let's go after it. Well, what are the steps, Devon? I don't know the steps. Well, how much money is it going to take, Devon? I don't know. Enough money to make it successful. But now, like, if I have an idea, like, before I come to, I'll come to the queen. Is it a good idea? She'll say yes or no. And then I'll create the plan, the strategy, the outline, and then we'll actually execute it if she says so. Queen?
Yeah, I think just to piggyback off of what you said, I think one, he's right. All of the personality assessments, right, basically say the same thing when it comes to me. And it hasn't changed too much as I've grown. I'm pretty steadfast in being like an analytical overthinker, but also what comes, every single personality has pros and cons, right? So one of the cons of my personality is when faced with conflict, I tend to retreat, right? I tend to like pull away. That's just how I naturally, and it's something I have to fight naturally because I know he's not that type. And I even got to see, it's interesting when you meet somebody's family and you start to understand why they are the way they are and how they are.
Yes.
I'm literally my dad.
Yeah, literally. And just even being like growing up and like meeting your family and like going out to dinner with your family and things like that, like just seeing the things that y'all talked about were things that would never be brought up with my family, like things we would never talk about. And it's just like, neither is right or wrong, neither is good or bad, it's just different. And it almost like there were certain moments where I literally felt uncomfortable. Like, should I be here? Like, should I be while y'all are having this conversation? And
listen, my family, they be talking about everything.
And it was just, it was like a culture shock, and I just had to get used to it and then realize that that's what he grew up in. So that's how he is. He'll ask me things, and it's like, we will literally be like in a space. I'm introverted, so I'm very much in my head. I have a million thoughts at once, and they're very personal thoughts to me. Like, I don't always share everything in my head, even to Devon, because that's just how I am. But he senses, it's like he has a sixth sense or something. And he'll be like, what are you thinking right now? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it'll be like, it'll catch me off guard. Like,
you do that, Power?
Yes,
and
sir.
it almost feels like an invasion of privacy. Like,
Yeah,
get out of my head.
I need all them thoughts.
Right.
Come on.
But and sometimes it is me contemplating whether, like, okay, I have something that I may want to bring up to him, but I always have to have the conversation with myself 12 times before I bring it up to know what all the different possibilities are. Like, so I may be in that space. Sometimes I'm in that space where it's like, I'm deciding whether I'm going to bring this up to him or not. And then he'll be like, what are you thinking? And it's like, okay. And sometimes I'm straight like I need a few minutes, like, I'm not ready to share what's in my head right at this moment, but later or something. So I'm getting used to being able to having the courage to say that too. Like, it's something in my head. I'll share it when I'm ready. But I'm also getting used to, like, okay, no, you don't have every single word exactly planned out how you want to say it, but let's just jump into this and let him know what you're thinking and kind of have the conversation together. Yeah. So I think that's something that I'm just getting used to, is that having those conversations without, I've been blessed to grow up without really seeing. Now when we're older, it's a different story. But when we were younger, we didn't really see my parents argue, or like have those types of like intimate type of conversations. So to me, like sometimes having just passionate or like conversations where it can be a conflict, but I almost see it like an argument or something bad. And I feel like that's how I've grown up to see just talking about things, when in actuality, like, conflict is good. If you don't have conflict, then you're not really living life together.
Right.
So I think that kind of changing that mindset to know that just because we have something that we don't agree on doesn't mean that, like, we're going through a rough patch, or doesn't mean that we're not meant to be together. Like, it literally is just a conflict. Like, it's a part of life. So I think that's something that I'm having to change into my head, so that I can come to these conversations not being defensive, not thinking that, oh, he's going to come and he's trying to attack my point of view or something like that. Just coming as, you have an opinion and I have an opinion, and let's talk through, come to a solution, or just come to realize that we agree to disagree, and that's okay too.
So really quick, and then if y'all have another question, feel free. But I want to make a kind of a metaphor. Should I use the stock market, or should I use Earth and fault lines? What do you think?
Let's use Earth and fault lines. We're gonna get to stocks and talking about some finance.
Beautiful. Cool. So Earth and fault lines. I think when it comes to difference of opinions between, you and your partner, those can be considered fault lines within the Earth, right? And we know that when there's too much tension that is built up between fault lines, that's where you see huge earthquakes, right? But my thing is, I think you can have small, what are they called? Tremors, right?
Yeah.
Small earthquakes, 1.0s, 2.0s, that releases that tension, right? And for me, growing up, I did live in a household where there was tons of arguments. I did live in a household where there was, people can perceive it as violence, and that's literally what I grew up in. And we had a sad moment the other day when I was in the closet because I was sick. And I was sitting in the closet, and the queen was like, "Oh, you look so cute in the closet like that." And what did you say? I feel like you said something.
I think you said, like, this reminds me of when I used to be a kid or something like that.
Oh yeah, I was like, this reminds me of my childhood. She was like, "Why? Why were you in the closet?" I was like, "Oh, sometimes when my parents would argue, like, I would just go in the closet because I didn't want to hear anything, and I would sleep in the closet." She was like, "Oh, that's so sad." I was like, "Oh, well, that's literally just felt normal, and that's when I grew up with." So it's like my, I guess, comparison to an earthquake is those 7.0s, is those 6.0s. So I much rather have the small tension, the small tremors, right, that release the tension all over time, rather than you don't say anything, I don't say anything, and then 10 years later there's a huge massive earthquake and there's destruction. Right. So that's the little metaphoric comparison.
I like that.
Throwing it back to the powers. Any other questions before we keep it pushing?
Yeah, I do have one. Make your statement.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just you guys said a lot of things I feel like I could relate to, and I feel like seeing a person's family is a window to who they are, and that's very important. I think even more, because even when we're in couples therapy, she was like, "Okay, we just have to take it back to the family this time, like when you were a kid, and how you see how that affects like the way that you act now." And I grew up in a household where I saw intense like we were wrong all the time, and I was in the middle of it. I was the parent therapist, and I think I had a lot of parentification of me as a child. So I don't know, it's a pretty lot of things that you guys are saying. And I overthink a lot too, like you, Claire. Like we're overthinking in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I do.
What I'm thinking.
Yeah, but my question was: so, do you guys talk about every argument, or even the small, like the trimmers, like you said, Devon? Do you guys sit and talk that out? If you just had a quick little interaction with each other and it was like a little would you talk about it, or sometimes you guys just let it flow and everything is okay?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm trying to think of. So I think if there's something to talk about, like we disagree on something and it's specific, then yes, we will talk it out, because I don't just like that tension sitting in the air.
Yeah.
We won't always come to a solution, right? We won't always be like, okay, this is what we're doing. But there will be sometimes where we're having a conversation. Go put you on blast. Where we're having a conversation, right? And in her head, the conversation's over. In her head, it's done. We didn't conclude it. We didn't agree on nothing, and she'll just walk away. I'm like, Sinclair, can you come back? Can we talk about this for a second, please? She's like, oh, I thought we were done. No, you weren't saying any words. I was like, no, I was just giving some room for maybe you to say something. But I think there are other days where we may not be agreeing on something, or there is a little bit of conflict, but we might not actually talk it through if there's not something specific to talk through. Queen, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think you're good to bring up I think to your point on what you just said about like the tremors. I think you are good to, if we just have like a little moment of like, rather than, because you know how I am, and I I am the type of person, again, it's something I'm actively working on, where like a bad moment may ruin my whole day. And I'm trying to get out of that to where it's like, just let it pass. Like it's a moment. You have a whole life to live. Like let it go. But I think because he knows that, he will like try to like bring it up. Let's bring it up. Let's talk through it, so that it doesn't have to be a thing that I hold on to like for the rest of the day, and like I'm feeling some type of way like about him for the rest of the day. So he's good to bring up like, oh, why did you do that? Or, why like perfect example that has happened on numerous times where I'm like, okay, I guess we just agree to disagree, and I walk away, and he's like, what do you like? Come back. I was like, oh, what else is there? Like, we don't agree. Okay, cool. But so he'll be like, why'd you walk away? I'm like, oh, because I thought we were done. He's like, no, I I still have this or whatever. And so like we'll talk it through, and then okay, I'm mad. My bad. I didn't mean to like it. To me, it's never like, oh, I'm done and I'm walking away. Like it's never that. But it's always like okay,
what else is left here?
right? Like what else is left?
I'm pretty sure now.
Yeah. So I think that he's good to bring up those little moments when there might be a little bit of tension, so that it doesn't grow into a full day that we lose. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how many days we have, so it should never be a full day of being mad at each other. Like nothing's that we have not faced anything that's serious, luckily. So yeah, I think he's good to bring up those moments. I probably won't, just me being, again, the non-confrontational one, but I acknowledge and I appreciate when he does bring that up, because typically at the end of that, I'm like, okay, we've got through that. Like we can go throughout the day. Let's go take a walk. Let's go get on to the next activity, rather than I know I would have been still going to sleep laying on my pillow like, I can't believe this. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks, Queen. I'm glad you did.
That's a great strategy for you.
But I want to get back to y'all. I want to get back to y'all. Y'all got a wedding coming up in T minus. I know y'all know how many days. How many days we got? 40 something.
I think it's 40 something. Maybe,
right? 40 some days to game day, the day. So I want to talk a little bit about just like advice that y'all have for other folks who are going through this, or who want to someday go through a wedding. What's the planning process like? I know it's stressful. We know it's stressful.
And y'all got two.
Y'all got two of them. So talk through why you have two first off, and then just some of those high level planning details that are important.
Well,
before she starts off, I just want to say that she's absolutely amazing.
Hey, you doing a good job, Howard.
A lot of stress that's happened. She is because she has so many tabs open in her head. She's like that. She can work like that. I can't. I need maximum 2, 3, and then I'm over. But her brain capacity is so high, so she has navigated so many different things from the beginning of our wedding, and she does not like to procrastinate. Like she will do it. Like what y'all saw when we moved in, like we were moved in by that same day. Most people are not done until every time we're moved in the same. And for me, I'm like, ma'am, can we take a break? But not anymore because I understand that after it's done, I feel so much better, right? So I'm kicking it back to her on wedding stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Palumi. We see you. Yes,
it's a struggle.
It's good to feel appreciated. Well, I don't know. Okay, where do I start? We actually, I guess we'll say I have 3 weddings because we got married on Valentine's Day. I wanted to do something special, but also because like paperwork and stuff and getting added on each of these things takes long, so it just made sense. And then I wanted to pick a date that would be special, and that was the day I just loved it. But we have 2 weddings coming up and doing like the wedding celebrations, and because we're Nigerian, we're having a traditional wedding. And a lot of people are like, oh, just save money and have it on the same day. So I like grew up in Nigeria. So I used to a wedding day on 2 days. It's like weird for it to be on the same day, the traditional and like what we call the white wedding, Western white wedding. So that's what I wanted. So for me it's difficult because I feel like I'm realistic and delusional at the same time because I know what stuff is, but I know what I want it to look like, and I'm like, I don't care some magical way it's gonna happen because like right now we're I know when I talk to you about this, we're looking at homes and things like that. I know what I want, and I know that it might not make sense, and also I don't want to make a decision that doesn't make sense, but because for me to keep hope alive and just like some magical way it'll work out, sort of, kind of like that. So we have 2 weddings because the traditional is on the day before. Sometimes people do it like a week before or like a month before. But a lot of times it happens the day before. So I wanted it split like that because it'd just be too much going on. I didn't want to cut out anything from either and not experience anything because they're all like in a squished time period. So everything is basically been me because like you said, I'm such a I don't know when my brain's silent, it's weird. And like I overthink. I overthink in general, even when my brain's not silent. But having different tabs open and having things going, it's just like how I operate. So once we got engaged, I started everything like right away. I was like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. And Pinterest is my best friend. Like I love like all like the ideas, even if it's like a cheaper way to make it come to life. I'll sit on my computer for hours if I have to find a different way for something to come to life, or like just find different alternatives, right? So that has helped me keep my vision. And when I see people who are like doing stuff like later on, I'm like, how are you functioning this? Are you sure this is going to be like, and even with the way I am, I still feel like I'm not enough where everything is boom, 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 but it's just about finding vendors. And it's a bit harder doing a Nigerian wedding here, especially in this area, because like, I don't see a lot of like things that we need. So it's going through Instagram, finding someone who's going to get materials and like sending it to Nigeria, and like just it's been hectic. It's been this is the biggest. After this, I don't want to plan something for a really long time. It's just been I couldn't not like words can describe how many moving parts there are and how many things I've accomplished, and just starting early has had me, be able to be where I am right now. And also another big thing is money, because obviously I had money, I could just snap my fingers and
get a wedding planner,
and have somebody else do it.
Yep.
Because me doing everything, I think something I would say is just starting everything as soon as you can. And I would say the main things, if anything, is have your venue booked right away. Have your budget spoken about before, which it will change so many times throughout. It's changed. I don't even know how we're paying for this because it's crap ton of money. So I don't know. It's just how I function though, and that's based on good things and also based on trauma. Why I function the way that I function. So
and traditional. Oh, go ahead, Power.
Oh, you're good.
traditional wedding versus the Western wedding. What are some of the main things that are different other than the swag and the drip? Because I know, you know what I'm saying, we
The
about to be
huge part.
looking popping on that traditional. But what else is kind of different?
I think with family involvement is different. Mind you, we're not really doing this with a lot of family support, at least not on my end, right? Um, but it's a little bit on your end, but the family interactions and support is different. Even though we have to find a way to work around that because I don't have that, which is so weird to have like a traditional mind your traditional wedding without really having my parents involved. It's like then what do you do? It's also the way it's gone about, and it also depends on the culture, you know. So it's this family coming to this family asking for this, and then you do all this like ceremonial things based on your culture. So it's a lot of like ceremonial things where it's like, okay, this is you do this, you ask, you greet this person, you do all this versus like a Western wedding where it's like, okay, like we've already asked for hand in marriage, or if we don't, we've done this, we walk down the aisle, we say our vows, and then we go party and we go eat. And this is just a lot of like procedures and like like drip. It's a lot of just like hype and like
It's like
fun.
a big fun African party with the other aspects that need to happen. The actual wedding itself is a smaller portion of of the time frame. Most of it is just eating good food, vibing, dancing, just being happy, families meeting each other, interacting.
Yeah, it's about like
in typical traditional weddings.
Families meeting each other and doing like certain procedures that it's just a lot to get into, and it depends on like I said where you come from and your culture that it works a certain way. So those are like the big differences, I would say.
Got you. Well, we're ready. Oh no, I sent you a picture. I got fitted the other day for the.
Yes, you
I
did.
got my
Good.
shoes. We good. We good. We're gonna be in there. So after the wedding, I mean, you guys are already technically officially married, but I feel like after the wedding, it'll be officially married.
Yeah.
And then you embark on the road to become melanated married millionaires in the making.
Yes.
Right. So as we talk about you two becoming a part of that 2%, the 2% of Black families that are worth over $1 million, well, manifest it is for sure going to happen for y'all. What are maybe some of the strategies or tools that y'all plan to use to build up that wealth? I don't know. I'm sure y'all have talked about it, but yeah, just what are those strategies or visions that y'all have for wealth or millionaireship?
I think, well, first of all, it's difficult in this country, especially the time that we're living in right now with inflation and everything. Things are just ridiculous. I think the last like year or like just like a lot of relationships, when you don't have external support, it's a lot of like giving up things and just writing things out like temporarily. It's a lot of like determination and that I feel like a lot of people don't have in that regard for like wanting to save money. It's a lot of saving money for what it is that you want because it's temporary, and also because I'm the kind of person where I've been through like so much that I want like solace. So it's like I want the wedding, and then I want to be in a house and I'm comfortable, and I just feel like I deserve years of just being happy and peace and like not having to be like up and down. And so a lot of things that we talk about is investing in different things that we could invest in. We look into the stock market and we look into crypto, and then even though that's weird and a different topic of its own, but also a lot of like real estate, which we are involved with you guys in. So it's more, but I think a lot of times it's about taking one thing one step at a time, which is something I tend to not do. So taking things one step at a time, but having like a plan. And I feel like a lot of times it's easier said than done because you kind of need to have money for a lot of things. Not to plan, but to have money for a lot of things to come to execution. But it's just constantly talking about things and constantly updating it as circumstances change, and talk about ways where you can like double your money or I'll let you talk. He's more of the numbers person.
Yeah, everything she said is right. Like that's been the theme is we just want peace. We grew up in chaos, so every decision we make is to get us to a place where we can just right. So real estate is a really really big vehicle, as you know, Devon, like and Sinclair, right? Like real estate has played some part in most of the millionaires' lives, right? Some part in their accumulation of wealth.
90%.
Exactly, 90%. And that's why I said Devon, because I remember you quoted that number when I joined your information like a month or so or something like that.
Yeah.
But so yes, we have been working on trying to acquire our first property. And so that's going to be a really big vehicle to getting us where we want to be. Stocks is also going to be one. Index funds, we're learning about those. We also have plans of meeting with a financial advisor, but 401k and all of that, we have plans on Roth IRA, all of those vehicles we are definitely looking into in the time frame that we've had of trying to plan the wedding. So much.
Just so much has been happening.
There's just so much that like want to do but can't do, and also entrepreneurship. I currently own a business we currently own a business that it's called Power Sports Mentoring Excellence. So the main focus is to basically elevate athletes to the next level. So that includes high schoolers. So how to get high schoolers early on to get them some career planning, because in any other career, there's career planning, but in sports, there typically isn't career planning. You don't ever sit down with somebody and they tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you do this, if you structure this, you need to do this summer. This internship, aka playing for this team somewhere else, is going to set you up for an opportunity to get seen or get recognized in the professional world. So having that knowledge that I have, I currently have that business going to have high schoolers into college players into the professional world, and then also transitioning professional athletes. In my case, currently soccer players into corporate, right? Into a corporate world, or getting at least that first job. And it's not just going to be corporate; it's also transitioning them to a career in entrepreneurship, right? Or whatever the case may be, but helping them navigate that transition. That's pretty much what the business is focused on. So that's currently in the works. So look out for that. PowerSportsMentoring.com should be live soon. And yeah, so entrepreneurship. She's also thinking about doing some design business in the future, but obviously with her transition into a new job currently and wedding stuff, that's all on the back for right now. But so that's kind of some of the vehicles that we see ourselves navigating to get where we want to be.
Yeah, I'm not pursuing things individually like that right now. Like I said, I have a lot of chaos, and I just want like the boring life, which I already kind of have right now. But I just want to like be like living in a good community, and later on having kids and like all these things, and just kind of like mellow out and have those years of like normalcy, and just regular issues before I do things on my own. But for right now, doing things joint, I'm fine with.
Yeah. I love the fact that you said, we have a business. We're going to invest in real estate, right? Because now that y'all are married, two become one. Everything is a squad, right? Everything is y'all building together, and I love that. So going through some of those stats that Onah was talking about, 88% of self-made millionaires in America are entrepreneurs, right? So the fact that both of y'all are entrepreneurs, you're doubling those chances of reaching that $1 million. 90% of millionaires in the world are invested in real estate, right? So again, if you're thinking about this, like the habits that millionaires are doing, entrepreneurship is one, real estate is another one. And then the last one, y'all are already invested in your Roth IRA, your 401k, your index funds, all those within the stock market. And on average, millionaires are investing 30% of their income into the stock market, because the stock market on average is going to grow
at least 10%.
10% would be beautiful, right? 10% would be fire. The stock market is going to grow for sure more than your savings account.
Right.
Your savings account is going to give you 0.03%, maybe, where the stock market can give you anywhere from 5 to 10%, right? If you're in index funds. So it's just a great way of actually putting your money to work and getting that velocity. So y'all are already checking 3 out of the 4 boxes. So wealth is inevitable for y'all. Let's go, Power. We're rooting for y'all. Rooting for y'all. And we want to see you on some of these vacations with us too, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all talking about like wanting to be kids. Like that's for me, that's what vacations are about.
Yeah.
Go and explore and just be a kid again and not have to worry about all the stresses of mundane normal life for a little bit.
Yeah, that's something I'm super big on. I've been in like different stages of my life, and and I know it's like, I know this partially goes into the answer like later on of why we're getting married quote unquote early. But I think I'm ready to sort of like be a kid again and like live life through a kid's eyes, like sort of like also feeling my like inner child, and, you know, experiencing things in my childhood. Just I feel like that's something that's like not really fully healed, and I feel like it just takes time and experiences to like heal that, and that's what I'm like moving into, like watching like old movies, like reading children's books. It sounds silly, but it's yeah.
Yep.
So possibly last question for y'all, right? Just kind of focusing on that. What are some kid things that y'all just want to do together, right? As a beautiful newly married couple before you have kids. What are some just like either silly stuff or like, you know, just fun stuff, travel stuff that y'all just really want to do before the baby powers come into play?
I would say vacation for sure. So the honeymoon is gonna be exceptional. When we got engaged, we got engaged in Punta Cana, so that was exceptional. And that was my that was my first like vacation trip. So she's been to vacations in her life, even in the chaos. They found some good, right? For me, my family we didn't even go to vacations to the next city. We didn't go eat dinner together with all 5 of us, or whatever the number is. Don't even feel like thinking about it. But yeah, we didn't do those things. So I'm really excited to like go on vacation because I'm just gonna relax and just be with my queen and just be in my space, seeing the waters, seeing people play around, seeing the kids do what they're doing, right? Just all of that is just gonna be awesome. So that's what I'm looking forward to before the kid comes.
Y'all got Maldives, right, for the honeymoon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. I feel like that's like the ultimate, like just
dreamy.
serenity, like yes. Have a fun trip. I'm looking forward to if y'all post on Instagram or if you don't.
I'm a post. That's one thing.
Okay, cool. I will be living through you for that week and a half, however long you're gone, for sure.
Nice.
I think for me, something fun that we do right now is like we go roller skating. I really like that. It's a good way to get like my exercise in, and also like just something like, I guess it's not really like a kid thing, but it is like for us. And like we go to the park and then we see little kids and like they're just so adorable, and not watching them in a creepy way, just watching life be so simple to them. Sometimes I tell them like there's like so many childish things that I want to do, but I'm like, I think I need to have a kid to do this so it's not weird. Like I want to
into the playground, but it's like, man, everybody's coming to meet you. Like, watch this grown woman in the playground.
We do that. We do that in the morning before the kids go out there. We'll go
before
on the
they get there. Okay, that's
we do our work out there, and sometimes we'll jump on they have like a little zip line thing. Sometimes we jump on that and just have fun.
That's
when the kids aren't present.
Stuff like that. Like even I think they have this like, what's it called? They have the one in the ball where like
it's like a play area where
it's like a place
pretty much
for
any
kids where
like
they eat and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm helping my kid down this, but I'm actually doing this for me. Like this children's book, yeah, it's actually really for me. Like I don't know what else. Yeah, Universal Studios and things like that. We already go to that, but I feel like there are things that kids do where it's like, oh, I'm watching like, for a random example, not like I guess like something that Mickey Mouse is doing or something like that. Not in that specific, but just like for example, but just things that are fun and like silly. Just I don't know. It's just I don't know. I feel like we're never too old for a lot of things. Societal, like we are. So yeah.
Yep. I think there's a part of adulting that is keeping your inner child alive.
That's what
it's needed. I think the cool thing about children is they're innocent. They're before they have kind of the stain of the world and the
exactly.
So I think it's important to everybody to keep their inner child alive. Find some way, whether it's puzzles or the beach or roller skating, whatever it is, like find some way to keep that inner child alive. I think that's a way to have fun in life always.
We watch cartoons too on the weekend sometimes. Like Saturday morning, we'll relax, watch a cartoon. We're watching Proud Family. That's been the what we've been watching on the weekends. But
I'm never too old for SpongeBob.
Never.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Naruto, Dragon Ball Z.
And you lost me.
Oh no.
Yeah. Same. I don't do anime.
All right. It's all good. all good. We appreciate y'all for coming on. We're about to do some quick updates, and then we want to throw it back to y'all for any like last nuggets of wisdom for married couples out there or people who want to get married. Just any last tips you have. We're gonna do some quick updates and then throw it to y'all to close us out. So Queen, on your side, what you got popping?
So we still have our free weight loss accountability group. So if you are looking to lose weight, you don't really know where to start, or you already know where to start and you just need somebody to help you hold yourself accountable, that's what this group is for. Staying consistent is one of the hardest parts of losing weight. Like, we all can do something for a week or two, but doing it for the months or even years it takes to lose weight sustainably is hard on your own. So if you're looking for a community of women who are also trying to do the same thing, this is the community for you, the Queen to Queen Weight Loss Accountability Group. So you can sign up at the number 2, queencoaching.com. That's where you can sign up for the group. We are going to, if you're in the Riverside or Inland Empire area, we are going to start doing some like physical meetups. So I'm really excited about that, and some hikes and fun stuff. So definitely want to tap in with us. Also on Queen to Queen Coaching, you can schedule a discovery call because I will be opening enrollment for the 90-day weight loss formula, which is the 3-month program where we basically take a deep dive into your health, look at your metabolic, your hormonal health, and come up with a plan and strategy that is individualized to you so that you can reach your goal. It will help you lose up to 30 pounds in those 90 days. Help you feel good, gain that energy back. And I always like to say, you're going to feel so good. You're going to go in the back of that closet and you're going to pull out that dress that you haven't worn in years. It may be a little tight right now, but you're going to feel so good that you're going to be ready to wear that with confidence by the end of this program. So if you're looking for someone to help you through your weight loss journey and actually tell you and coach you through what you need to be doing, go to queencoaching.com and sign up for a free discovery call with me. That's just where we'll talk about your goals and I'll talk about the program. And we'll make sure that everything aligns before we move forward.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And on the other side of that, if y'all got a business, y'all got an idea that you want to get off the ground, we meet with entrepreneurs every Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going over social media. We're going over narrowing down your niche. We're going over how to set up your website, how to grab your domain. What's your core ideology, and really helping you take that business idea that you have, but maybe you've been procrastinating on a little bit and you need. No, not Palumi. She don't procrastinate at all. But if you're, you just need a little bit of support and you need a community around to launch your business, come meet with us. Go to launchitcommunity.com. You can grab the book there, but you can also join the accountability calls every Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come through. All right. So we got the powers here. They're going to leave you with some powerful nuggets of wisdom, of love for anybody who may be thinking about going on that journey, on that path, and you looking for some quotables and nuggets and lessons that you can take. Brother Power, Mrs. Palumi, if you can please hit them with the wisdom.
First, I think we just go like back and forth. I think the first thing I would say is addressing like the whole being really early. I feel like what works for you is what works for you. Because like for us, it's like if we met each other early, like this person I want to be with. Am I gonna wait till I'm late 20s or early 30s because someone says that live your 20s and and it's just what works for me, because I don't feel like my living or my having fun or my experience has been necessarily stifled being in relationships. So I think that's just a big one. Do what works for you. It's never too early for certain things, that'll be my first one.
Cool. I only have one, and then she'll close us off. So for me, I always thought communication. If both parties are willing to communicate, I always thought that would mean no arguments. That is wrong. It's wrong. Because you're willing to communicate doesn't mean there will be no arguments, as well as doesn't mean that you understand each other. So because you're willing to communicate doesn't make you a good communicator. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? So you could be saying words and you're saying, I want us to solve this issue right now. But what you're saying is not getting understood by the other person. Communication is is a two-way street, right? It's what's said and what's understood. And if they don't match up, that message, you could have said A, B, C, D. If she called, I could look at you, Devon, and you can kind of get what I'm saying to you, right? We have that relationship, you, Markel, we can do that. But the words that, and I don't need to use words, so that just tells you that it's not about just being willing to speak or speaking, but actually being on the same page and trying to understand each other, like the Queen was saying, Claire was saying earlier on.
Yeah, that's good. Yep. And then Palumi, your second one.
I would say in general, not just for like relationships. Well, I'll say it's always be willing to compromise and understand, and be open. It's definitely like a journey. I think I would say understand your family background. Feel stuff in your family. Always be open to therapy. I'm a therapy person. You got a headache, go to therapy. I'm sick. Always be willing to, understand that, because I feel like it will help you understand yourself better and make connections, not just like the romantic relationships, but all the relationships that you've had. Just still, this is also a word to myself. I'm working on it. Put yourself first. Like, don't always beat yourself up. Put yourself first, and like take care of yourself. So I would say those are my last words.
Yep. Take care of yourself, y'all. Self-love. And a great way that you can take care of yourself is to make sure you continue to tap into the M4 show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Continue to tap in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. We appreciate you. To the beautiful couple on here, thank you for gracing us with your presence, with your power.
Having us.
Of course, y'all are our first official M4 guests, so you are in the history books. You're going to have an amazing and beautiful wedding. We look forward to experiencing it. And again, just peace and love to you all over there. Right?
Bye.
Much love.
All right. So as usual, appreciate y'all. My name is Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all stay healthy, mentally wealthy, true melanated millionaires in the making, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening. Go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.